It was so weird that you didn't. First of all, it never loaded the preview for me, and second of all, I never saw your camera. It never sent it. It was so strange.
Weird.
Let me just send this.
Oh, bless you, Bodhi. Bless you.
Fine.
Bless you.
All right, send now. Cool. I can see. Oh, yay! I'm seeing a stream preview today. That's fun. That's fun.
Different.
Okay.
It looks
Does
different.
it? Yeah, I did a little. Well, some of the stuff is not popping up yet. It's updating a little slow. Oh, and I froze. Okay, that's cool.
You're not frozen for me.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Am I not frozen for you in your preview, or am I not frozen for you in the green room?
In the stream.
Okay, that's different. In the stream. Okay, good. I'm just gonna not watch that stream output. I'm just gonna let it not do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna let my computer not have to show me that.
Yeah. It's better. I'll just
check in a little bit on the channel to make sure I'm fine. Just make sure. Okay. Ooh, and I'll turn the sound down so that I don't echo. Yeah, it's loading eventually. Where is all of our stuff? That's so weird.
I know.
It's only streaming like certain stuff. This is the same amount of stuff that we had last time. It
looks very minimalist.
It does.
Also, it looks like I have like antlers or something on mine. I can't see it clearly enough. It looks like antlers. Hey, Bodhi.
I do not see antlers on you.
No, not on the box. There's like next to our thing. It's like almost like this symbol.
What? I do not see that.
Like right next to where the stream is.
I do not see that. That's so strange.
I like that we do completely different things.
Yeah, that's so weird. Hi, welcome to our broadcast. We're Crime and Cookies. You wouldn't know it from our overlay, but that's fine.
We could be anybody. Sure. You know what?
Yeah.
The holidays, we could be anybody.
You could be whatever you want for bits.
Yep.
We'll be whoever you like. Call us any name.
Well,
we'll start with our real names. I'm Andrea.
I'm Gina.
Hello. We are here to talk about true crimes, and it's BYOC. You eat your own cookies.
Yep. I think I'm gonna be making Christmas cookies. I think on Monday. So
okay,
I'll have some Tuesday. But you know what? My plans. I always have plans, and then hi Dan.
Oh, hi Dan. Nice. You said it at the same time.
Nice to see you, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, has it been busy in your store this week? Does it get busy around the holidays? I'm sure it does.
It might. I get Christmas presents for my animals. I mean, usually in the before time I did.
Nonstop busy, yeah.
Nonstop, yeah.
We got gifts for my friend Sarah gave gifts to my cats, which they are playing with now. Cat toys. Cat toys are very popular around here. Some cats never play with toys. Mine love it, and especially if they have catnip in them. If they have catnip, it's like. But they also love any soft balls. So that's what they're doing right now. They're just having a party.
Really, Count Chocula. So when I adopted Count Chocula, that's my cat's name. They told me he loves toys. He's in love with toys. He likes to carry the mouses around in his mouth. Oh, pet gifts. You don't have to. I sound like my mother. They have so many toys already.
They're just more spoiled.
Yeah.
Spoiled.
So so the problem that we have in my house is that I also have a terrier dog.
Right.
Who is kind of a dick about toys and thinks they're all his. So any cat toy is going to be in the dog's mouth. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So we don't have the mice. Sarah it might be our same friend Sarah who sent the cat toys.
Oh no, it's a different. You don't.
Okay. She so my friend Sarah on my improv team, Clamor of Harpies, she sent a squeaky cigar to the dog and a catnip cigar to the cat, and they both loved them very much, but the cat can only play with it on the dining room table because if he knocks it off, then the dog eats the catnip out of it.
No. Does it have any effect on the dog?
No, not that I can discern. Not that I know. He also does love catnip, though. He'll roll around on that. So we got to figure out toys.
Zelda is on my bad list this week because yesterday Jude had a Corel. I put it out for him with blueberries, a Corel bowl with get out of there with blueberries, and she knocked it and shattered it. I mean, like in the tiniest pieces all over the floor. And then she constantly wants water from the sink, but like in a way that's psychotic. And she won't stop. You turn it on, as soon as you turn it off, she starts crying again. And then yesterday we caught her trying to turn it on herself. And I was like, you cannot learn how to do that.
That's amazing.
She's so naughty. Like, stop it. See? She's like relentlessly naughty. Like she was just trying to chew glue. I'm like, going to kill herself.
She's gonna chew glue.
You never realize, man. You never see this cat sleeping. It's constantly, she's still young yet. She's like constantly moving around and constantly up to no good. And I'm like, just get to the point where you're old enough to sleep most of the day. Because you're like, I'm just like at like up to here with her. I was seriously like so mad yesterday. I was just ready to be like, put her out and be like, good luck. Here's
you're an outside cat now. Yeah. No, so Count Chocula's 10. He's 10 years old. So
I didn't think he was that old.
He's 10, yeah. I got him when he was 6. And he's all about snuggles. So I don't think he would mind if he never played with a toy again because he's mostly about the snuggles.
10 is a senior, and it's like they just want to sleep and hang out. Like Zelda is 1. So like not even 1.5 yet. So she's like all about just being an ass. Oh, she is 1.5 already.
Yeah.
She's just all about being an asshole. She likes popcorn kernels, which are she had popcorn, and then so she bats them around the floor, and then when you try to get them from her, she puts it in her mouth and takes off.
Penny is 4. Your Penny. Is your Penny a dog or a cat? I don't remember. And what kind? You want to know? So I'm in a Facebook group called This Cat is Gray. It's all gray cats. And apparently all gray cats are the same. I guess like all orange cats are kind of the same. Yeah. But all gray cats are very clingy and very talky. Ooh, black cat. That's awesome.
Black cats are cool. I have an orange tabby, and I love their personality. And my friend Sarah, who gave us the treat, they have an orange tabby named Lois. And her daughter is Jude's best friend, and she says that our cats are cousins. Which I like. So, but yeah, Lois and Bodhi have a similar personality. Where is Bodhi? Huh? I don't know. He's usually licking my arm about now, but there he is. When I get out of the shower, that's what he's got to do, lick my arm, which is disgusting, but whatever. He likes a lotioned arm.
Really?
So gross.
Count Chocula gave me kisses like one time, or like licked me, and I was like, ooh, this is happening. Oh my God. Very rare. The dog, Spencer, the little terrier, he will lick all of the sweat off of you from wherever it is if you're sweating. It's like, get your face, get your neck, get your legs. I'm like, okay.
I use the Keel lotion, and it doesn't even really have a smell, and he just if I don't sit down after I'm done getting ready, he gets angry that he doesn't have can't lick my arm. So this is a show.
Yes, this is a cat fancy show.
Start off about cats because it's just like a gentle way, because we're going to talk about so many terrible things. It's just like a nice light way.
Yeah.
To start. Plus, I don't know, about you all, but the pandemic is never ending. I feel I'm a little confused. I wish there was like a nurse watching. Maybe there is, and they'll tell me.
This has become the show. Yeah, I know.
My friend, I have a friend from high school, or someone I knew from high school, who's a doctor. He teaches at Penn, and he's like very, very smart. And he posted an article about the vaccine, and I tried to read it, and I was like, can you post one for very dumb people?
Oh.
Because I don't understand. I've been trying to find it all day, and I can't exactly find it. I think. Is it that they're saying about the vaccine that it will prevent symptoms, but it won't prevent, that you could still get it? I don't understand what the whole, like, there's something about it that's like, it won't do this, but it'll do that. And I don't understand what that is.
That I'm not sure of. Yeah, I'm not sure of that. That's interesting. That's worth looking up.
It is, and I'm like, I know it, like, and I could be very wrong because, like, again, like, not a doctor, not a scientist,
right.
but it's like it will. They keep saying like, well, it will do this, but it won't do that. It won't prevent transmission. Okay, but it lessen the blow. Because I was thinking like,
Okay.
oh, this is great, like, and then I guess it's not. It's not the thing I thought it was going to be, but it's good.
Right.
It's good.
Right. So it'll all still be the same. Everything will be the same, but we won't die.
Cool.
Which is cool.
I guess.
Which is cool.
So, like, are we going to be like, so then are we going? Because, like some schools are right, like Westchester University is like, oh, yeah, there's going to be a vaccine. We're going back. And then I hear that it won't prevent transmission. And I'm like, well.
Right.
I don't know.
So if it doesn't. Okay. Mike will know. Even if you have an immunity to a virus, you can be an asymptomatic carrier for a while, even though your body is fighting off successfully. I do know that.
Wow, just it's like
yes.
the flu vaccine.
Wait, the flu vaccine doesn't stop you from getting the flu? It just lessens the...
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I'm not an epidemiologist or a vaccine scientist.
No, let's get Dr. Charley out here.
I did not do my research on that. I did my research on an old-timey kidnapping.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. Because this is a crime show. Ooh, but first, I want to talk about...
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
Go. Sorry.
Okay. I want to talk about what's on everyone's minds, our potential foot of snow that we're supposed to get out of absolutely nowhere.
If you're in the Northeast corridor, they call it.
Yeah. If you're along I-95, good thing they built I-95 so we know where the snow is going to be bad.
I always wonder how they did that. Like, did they know? Were they like, this is the snow line? Let's build a road here?
Yeah, like, let's put a terrible road right where the cutoff is for like what's going to be ice and what's going to be snow. Dan hates snow. I used to hate snow. Hi, Zoe. Oh my goodness. Hi. Zoe loves the snow, but is skeptical that we're not going to get that much. It has gone down. I think we're at like 6 to 12 now where I am.
Ooh, yuck.
Or maybe it's
to 5 to 8, which is like so much better. When I see 12, I just want to cry.
But first she wants to talk about Squarespace. Listen, they helped me design a website. So easy.
They do.
The first month is free with promo code Crime and Cookies is not a podcast.
I know.
They always overestimate. Yeah, I feel like they, ever since the big like blizzard that never happened, they always, no, it was that day, ever since that day when it was the Eagles game and they're like, oh, flurries, and it was like 4 inches of snow. Now, question for Gina. Oh, so on Friday, we're going to do the OJ comic. We're going to do a little walkthrough.
Or like, because I know we're going to talk about murder on Middle Beach, but should we also do the OJ comic?
Yeah, we can do both.
If the people want it.
If you want it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Okay.
We should do a bits challenge, but I don't know how to put one up.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this amount is murder on Middle Beach. This amount, OJ comic. If you can see our tip jar, let's fill our tip jar, and then we'll go through the OJ comic with you.
And on Friday, we'll also find out what our movie will be for Sunday brunch.
Cool.
Because I'll give you. It's either going to be like Christmas in St. Louis or Christmas in Jersey City. Like they're all the same title.
Jersey City.
I wish it was Jersey City. That would be incredible. But yeah, they're all like the same title, but just a different place. So I'll just give you guys a choice, and then that's what we'll do on Sunday brunch. What are we calling it? Are we calling it Murder and Mimosas?
Ooh, we can.
Okay.
Or or just brunch. I mean,
it doesn't need a name. You're right.
It's just, listen, I will make myself a bottomless mimosa, which means I have to go back out to the liquor store to get champagne and orange juice. I did my snow shopping yesterday. I put my car in a spot on a street that will get plowed and salted, and I'm just going to leave it until it melts. So I ordered Instacart, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot 10 things. So then I had 2 Instacarts this week. So I'm good, except for
this is like nobody cares about this, but I use as shave lotion. I use it's what is it called? Like it's like Dove Mousse body mousse. I use that as shave lotion, and you're never out. You can use it for like I feel like forever, but then one day it's just gone. And I feel like I picked it up and it's really light, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna go out. Which I don't need to shave my legs during a snowstorm.
I was gonna say, good for you for shaving during a pandemic. But that's so optimistic.
You know why? Because if I do any working out, I wear shorts, and it's like a texture thing for me. Like I don't like my legs being exposed with hair. To me, it feels uncomfortable. But a lot of people, it's fine with. Yeah. No judgment.
Do you?
Good for you, not for me, as Amy Poehler says, right?
Exactly. Wow. Good for you, not for me. Another thing snow related, I found out, I think this was just last year, I did not know how to read a snow map. And I think it was Adam Joseph on Twitter did a video showing people how to read a snow map. Do you all know how to read the amount that you're going to get when it gives you the range?
No.
So there's the bands, like, right, we have Jersey, it'll be less, and that'll be 0. And then it's the band where it's like 1 to 3, and the band where it's like 6, 4 to 10, and then it's like 12 plus. So it's not that the whole area in that band could get 6 to 12 inches. So I'm looking at that my whole life. I'm like, okay, I'm in the 6 to 12 band.
Yes.
I'm getting between 6 inches and a foot of snow. No.
What?
No, that's not how that works. Guess how that works? At the bottom of the line where it hits the lower one, the other band, that's the 6. And then it gradually increases to the 12 as you get closer to the end of that band.
Oh, so I had no idea. I thought it was that you were going to get 12. I just assumed it was the highest amount.
So do I, to prepare.
Yes.
But so you take your band and you figure out where your house is. And then you go, okay, I'm close to the 6. I'm going to get 6. I'm close to the 12. I'm going to get 12. I'm in the middle. I have to do math now.
How could you not like Adam Joseph? What a lovely person he is.
I'm just going to attribute it to him because I like him.
He's great. You know what? I have an embarrassing thing in that, so I grew up in New Jersey, and I know exactly the county on the map where I grew up.
Yes.
I've lived in PA longer now than I've ever lived in New Jersey as an adult, or just in general, and I still don't know where my county is on the map or where I am on the map. They show it, and I'm like, I think I'm in that one. Like, I actually need someone to like show me, like, this is where you live here. Like, you are here. I need one of those for me because I don't know. I could just look it up, but I just don't. Whenever they show me, I'm like, ooh, I don't know how much snow I'm getting.
Right. Where am I? I'm in the north in Jersey. I don't know.
I know I'm west, so I'm like, okay, I'm over here. I'm like in this general area. And if they show Lancaster, I'm like, okay, I know. I kind of where I am from there. But if they don't tell me, it's like a wonder. I'm like, I don't know what my shape is. It's embarrassing. I should know.
I finally had to have a weather person clarify for me. So, because I when I was on the radio, we would be live and we would get snow updates. So I would call the NBC weather desk and be like, hi, can someone give me an update? It was really cool. You felt like really big. And Glenn Hurricane Schwartz, I think, did not like me, which is fine.
I mean, I have a lot to say about him, but it's fine. Keep going.
It's, listen, the hate show is subs only. No, but so
shit on Glenn Hurricane Schwartz.
No, I would never. I never have.
Me neither.
I never have talked shit on him ever.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he's a lovely man.
I think he doesn't like me because of a misunderstanding. Anyway, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I was the highest rated DJ in the city. Doesn't matter. What the fuck was it? Oh. So I finally got one of them to clarify for me what they mean when they say north and west. Because we're like, oh, north and I think it was during Sandy, actually. I'm like, what does north and west mean?
Allentown area, north and west.
Yeah, so they're like north and west of the city. I'm like, okay, I'm in the northwest corner of the city. Is that me? And she's like, no, that's not you. I mean like the Lehigh Valley. I'm like, okay.
That's what I thought.
Glenn Hurricane Schwartz is not all that. Just saying. You listen. It's fine. I personally
we don't want him to watch this and then
no.
like hate us. I've always
Someone's gonna send this to him and be like, "These bitches hate you," but we don't. We don't.
It's all a joke, Glenn. It's a joke.
No, yeah. So Glenn is very smart and very thorough, and so I always liked getting him actually to do the updates with me because he would get very specific with the time and the conditions, and basically you knew exactly what was going to happen.
I like that he takes his job seriously.
Very seriously. You cannot joke about the weather with Glenn Hurricane Schwartz.
Wow.
He did chuckle at a joke that I made once, and I thought that he laughed at my joke, but now, in hindsight, I think he may have been like, oh.
It's not funny. Jude's class. So one of the students in his class's dad works for NBC in some capacity. I don't know, so I don't want to say. But he got a weatherman to come and do the morning weather with Jude's class, and it was really cool. He's like one of the young ones. I forgot his name. He was so nice and so good with the kids, and they didn't ask him like a quarter of the questions I would have asked. And I was sitting there, and I was like, "Ask him, Jude." Ask him. And he wouldn't. Jude's like, "I'm not asking anything." I'm like,
"Oh,
I want to know everything."
If you're not from
weatherman at your fingertips.
If you are not from Philly, a thing that we do here is that we love our news people and treat them like celebrities and act like they are Hollywood stars.
They make
and especially the weather people.
They make so much money. They make some of them make like $600,000, $700,000 a year to do that. So like to me, that's celebrity.
Yeah. Radio people make close to that too.
They do.
Yeah. Not me not that much, but I was not too far away.
I'm going into radio.
Yeah, right. The jobs are disappearing. Did you know?
No, I have a feeling that was going to happen because I listened to satellite radio, which is probably like against your whole thing, and I'm sorry about that. But they do a lot of like, I'll notice it's like one person who just records, like they just record a bunch of things, and then so I'm like, well, what does this stop them from just having either one person do every station and or just having a robot situation? Like you don't even need a person.
So in the end, you have higher ratings and you make more money if you have live DJs because that's what radio is for. Everyone plays the same song. But the old white men who have never been on the air, who run things, just see a salary when they could have one person voice track a 12-hour shift for 9 markets. So that's what they're doing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's why I have a Twitch channel. Please subscribe. Please give us bits.
No, it's time for people to do it themselves, though. It's time to stop letting corporations have everything. Like, let the little man speak.
Anyway, the industry has been eating itself to death for years anyway.
Every industry, though, right?
I was in a webinar, a radio webinar. I was in a webinar last week that was basically like, hey, everyone in radio is unemployed now. What the hell should you do with yourself? Is it going to be radio? Probably not. Here are some ideas. One of them is Twitch. And our Twitch dad, Don, was on and talked about how awesome Twitch was. And the guy mentioned our show and said it was really good. And I was like, but he said the pandemic has basically fast forwarded every single industry 10 years. Especially with like the virtual stuff, the staffing, the work from home. Like this is where your industry would have been in 10 years. It's just gotten there now, which is interesting to think about. But
the funny thing about, because I teach, obviously everyone knows it. Well, you might not know, but I talk about it all the time that I teach community college English, and students are complaining now that they want in person. But when I was in person, the attendance was appalling. Like people didn't come it was people wouldn't hand stuff in. So like I get that they think that they want in person, but I think this is really going to have an effect on the way people want like some people do need in-person instruction. They just cannot read and understand things online.
Yeah.
But I do wonder when people go back, if they're going to be like, I thought I didn't like that, but I actually like my freedom. Like I like not having to be at a certain place at a certain time. So, and then I also wonder how it's going to change these colleges who charge like $70,000 a year. What are you getting for $70,000
Right.
a year? You know,
Well, they're still going to charge $70,000 a year.
they are. Well, I don't know. The problem is if they give these student loan forgiveness things, I really feel strongly like unless you change the policy for what college costs, it's not going to do anything. You're just
Yeah.
helping one generation.
Right. Yeah. College is a mess.
They have
And not
to,
for everyone.
they have to
Hello, Doreen. How are you?
hello. You have to like make the amount worth it, and a lot of times it's the amenities at a school that make it so expensive, not the professors.
My master's in Drexel for $50,000. Online for $50,000. That's actually pretty cheap for a master's because I think $50,000 a year is undergrad tuition at a lot of places.
For your whole that is a lot though for a master's. That's
I guess it is.
Double what I paid.
All online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're saying too. Online.
It was great. I loved online learning. Yeah. So some people, some teachers on TikTok have been saying a lot of people are bemoaning like students are missing out and falling behind because of the virtual, and some students are thriving. It's
online. I would do it forever if I could. I just want to stay in my
Oh, library science. Yeah, because you need that degree in order to be a quote unquote librarian.
Mm-hmm.
That's a credential. Yeah. Like a PhD.
Actually, I was on a library hiring committee and I learned a lot. Well, at the time I learned a lot. Now I know nothing. I won't pretend I know anything, but it was interesting. Yeah.
That's interesting. My mother used to work in a library, but she didn't have the library science. So she was an assistant. She was not the librarian. She was not.
Here's a fun fact. I worked with somebody, I won't call this other person out, but somebody in the comedy community who's a beloved person who I really, really love and admire. I didn't know that I worked with his mom for like over a decade. I didn't put the two last, and they have the same last name. I just didn't put them together. And then as soon as I realized who she was, I was like, this makes every sense. Like, of course you're related, but like, I never put it together. I only learned it after after she retired, because she told me. She wrote me an email.
That's interesting.
Like, by the way, you know my son. And I was like, oh my God. I'll tell you who it is later. But I was just unbelievable. I had no idea.
I'm making guesses based on the fact that talking about the library triggered it for you. Is that our friend? Is it the person who also got a library science degree and now lives somewhere else?
No, this person's in comedy.
Oh, okay. They were also in comedy, but they were getting there.
Oh yeah, no.
Library science.
This person is
okay.
Firmly in comedy, yeah.
Okay.
And like a wonderful human being.
Oh, cool. Good. Then the mom could have like revealed that.
That's what. Well, as soon as I knew that was, because his mom is so wonderful and so wonderful person, and then as soon as I was like, of course that's your mom. Like, you're both so great. Of course you would be related. Like, how could I know these two people with the same last name who are just like some of the nicest people in the world and not put it together? But
wait, is it Harry?
It's not Harry.
It's not, okay.
Sorry, Harry.
It's not our special guest from last time.
Not our special Harry.
Yeah, we had a special guest on last Friday for happy hour, and he told a baseball murder stories, and it was really cool.
It was very
cool. Yeah, if we know you and you want to be on, hit us up. We'll work something out. We have some other people who reached out, so we're going to do that more. Ooh. Would you like to hear a murder story?
I would. I'm going to plug in my computer while you're setting it up.
Okay. Your computer wasn't plugged in?
It was not. I thought I did, but it was the only thing I didn't plug in.
Wow. Let's see. Let's see if when she plugs in and everything goes to hell. Forgot to light my voodoo candle for luck tonight.
We're ready.
Okay. Ready? Okay. I just had a cheerleading flashback. Okay. So if you saw the headlines in the stream thing, our topic tonight is the Charley Ross disappearance or kidnapping. My sources were a WHYY post called Germantown's 1874 Unsolved Child Abduction Case, the New York Times, A Notorious 19th Century Kidnapping in Brooklyn by Michael Pollack, a site called True Crime Museum, a site called Dusty Old Thing, a site called Historic Germantown, and Wikipedia. This takes place in Philly. So does anyone remember hearing about the Charley Ross kidnapping or Charley Ross disappearance. It's local to here. It takes place in Germantown. It's the first known kidnapping for ransom.
Oh, I have heard about this. I was just
Okay.
when you put it all together, yes.
Okay, cool. It's the first kidnapping that got nationwide attention.
Mm-hmm.
It is probably the origin of the reason why parents say don't take candy from strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Too. Yeah. So on the afternoon of July 1st, 1874, 4-year-old Charley Ross was playing in the front yard with his brother, 5-year-old Walter Lewis. I do have those photos. Let's see if I can just
Them playing in the yard
of the house.
Oh.
At the time and the child. Let's see if that blows everything up. Okay. So did it update for you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's a drawing of the house, their nice big house in Germantown. And that is little Charley, and he has some remarkable hair, which is the first thing I noticed about him.
It's gorgeous.
It is. Like those banana curls. I would kill for them. Okay. So Charley and his brother are playing in the yard. His brother is 5-year-old Walter Lewis Ross. And there's their large house in Germantown. Germantown's a section of Philly, which, if you don't know, is kind of up like, it's northwestish. So it's like Mount Airy, kind of. Chestnut Hill farther than that. It's northwest.
Is it like Cheltenham or not that far?
It's around Cheltenham, yeah.
Okay.
They had a big house. It was a really nice section of town. Their father owned a dry goods store. And while these boys are playing outside, a carriage rolled up, and the men inside it asked the boys a question. Would they like some fireworks and candy? So, of course, they wanted fireworks for the 4th of July. Yeah. Right? At the time, it was the very first time some stranger ever asked a kid if they wanted candy.
I'm sorry, they were 5 and 3, though?
They were 4 and 5.
That's so little.
It's so young.
They don't even know what they are saying yes to. I mean, because who offers fireworks to a 4-year-old?
Right. I know. Like, oh, you're going to set them off? Amazing. Even like a 5 or 6-year-olds. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's the old days. At that point, you're like legal. It's legal for you to get married. So
right. He's gonna be like the mayor of the town. Charley was actually performing dental surgeries to help the family with money. Like, the long hair. He had shaved his beard before they do that picture there. So they're like, "Hey boys, want some fireworks and candy?" And the boys are like, "Yes, it's gonna be 4th of July in a couple of days." And they're like, "All right, you have to take a ride with us, so hop into the carriage." And the boys are like, "Okay." The men take them all the way to Kensington, which from Germantown to Kensington, if you don't know Philly, that is all the way across the city. That's on the other side.
Is it? Oh, the Northeast. Kensington's in the Northeast, correct?
Yeah, so it's northwest. So I actually have the route. Hold on. So this is... Come on, darling. Okay. Update. Here is the route. Let me know when that updates for you. Update. You can kind of make it out pretty well. So it's all the way through the city. Can you see it?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so they start up in the top, and that's Germantown, and then they take them all the way through the city to Kensington.
And you know what kind of traffic there is.
I know. In 1874, like,
right?
All the carriages just bumper to bumper.
What was Kensington of that day? I'm sure it was very different. It wasn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually don't know, but based on the buildings that have been made into apartments, I think some of it was factories.
Okay.
Much like Manioc, where I live.
It's probably a lot like Frankfurt was, like, it was at the time. There was like a lot of, from what I read when I did the slasher, when I read some stuff about the slasher a couple of years ago, they said there was a lot of industry that ended up leaving.
Yeah.
And so it's probably, I think Kensington's right there. So it's probably the same kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a Philadelphia history lesson, everybody.
From two people who are kind of sure. We have an idea. We let, what they did, what you do, they let Waze take them the best route. But so that's a 30-minute drive nowadays. So in your car, that's 30 minutes away. So in your carriage, it's far. When they got to the store.
So I was thinking about like when you look at Google Maps where they have like the walking guy.
Yes.
The carriage guy.
Well, Amish Google, you need carriage guy. So they get to the fireworks store, chose one for whatever reason. I'm sure there were, if the state of fireworks today is any indication, they could have stopped at literally any grocery store because fireworks are sold in all of them.
Wait a minute. So they were going to actually give them fireworks? It wasn't a ruse?
Yeah, so they give Walter 25 cents and they're like, all right, go in and pick out your fireworks and your candy. And he's like, great. So a 5-year-old child goes into a store.
I'm so confused.
Picks out fireworks, gives them to the clerk who rings up a 5-year-old for fireworks, puts them in a little bag and says, here are your fireworks, sir.
Over the counter, just a quarter comes up.
Right.
I'm shocked that they actually took them for the thing they said they were going to take them for. Okay.
Yes, they actually did. But it was a ruse to get Walter out of the carriage.
Oh. Okay.
Because once he came outside with his fireworks and his candy, the carriage was gone, and his little brother Charlie was never seen again.
Oh, no. So they wanted the 4-year-old.
Right? Can you imagine being the older kid and being like, what? You could have had 2 and I did. Like, why not pick me?
That's so weird.
Like, you don't want to be abducted, but you don't want to be thought of as unabductable. Right?
Although at the same time, now you can tell what happened. Otherwise, those parents would have no idea what happened.
Right. Their children were in the front yard and suddenly gone.
I just like the whole scenario is so weird. Like offering kids fireworks and then
sending
a 5-year-old in to buy his own. It's so crazy. The story is crazy. Go ahead.
This is the least crazy part of the story. So it bothered me that this 5-year-old is now in Kensington with fireworks. And how is he going to get home? Right? He's on the other side of the city. There's no Uber. I don't even know if there's a subway. I doubt he has tokens. He has to trust another stranger to give him a ride home when it is weird because they're so close in age. Yeah, they could have been Irish twins. It could have been like 18 months apart or something.
So it is weird. Although the person who abducted Jacob Wetterling they were like 2 of the kids were I think the same.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the age.
Yeah, it's just they want 1 instead of 2.
Yeah. Or maybe they want a certain one for a certain reason. Who knows?
Maybe Walter was not very cute. I don't know.
We don't know if he has those curls.
Right. Maybe they want a wig for those girls. Yeah. So he lucks out and it's not another kidnapper who takes him home. And he's able to say at 5 years old where his house is, which I guess is good. Is that normal? You have a kid.
At 5?
Yeah.
I think at 9, Jude would be like, I don't know what to do.
So my cat is...
Jude's here. I'm going to just ask you. If someone took you halfway across the state, would you be able to know how to find your way back home again? Okay. You can go.
Sarah, I'm on the phone.
You're fine. He's on the phone. Busy.
Okay.
But
sorry, thank you, Jude.
He said, heck no.
Wow. Okay, so this 5-year-old, my mother used to sing me our address when we were in the tub. When I was in the tub.
We're gonna tonight, by the way, if any dangerous people are watching, we're gonna memorize it. Jude's not going to sleep until it's memorized.
Yeah, so here's my cat. Hello. You want to come sit in my lap? Fine. Okay. Please be good. Okay, so another thing that sticks out to me, and this is a strange thing, is the carriage. That these men have a carriage. Because I've read enough historical romances to know that having a carriage is like a thing. It's not like today how everyone has a car.
Right.
People didn't have their own carriage. That was a rich people thing. So they had access to a carriage. Did they hire a public one? Like they're splashing out money on this kidnapping?
Like the rentals that what do they call those? Smart cars?
Public. Oh, right. Was it a zip carriage?
A zip carriage.
Like
it must have been somebody notable unless they stole a carriage because.
Oh, maybe they did. Those are hard to steal though because there's a driver.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not. There were public liveries back then, so you could like rent. You could get a carriage, but it would cost you money. And I guess they drove this carriage themselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you'd have to get a driver that's complicit in kidnapping a kid.
Right. Otherwise, they're like, no, drive away without him.
Right. Yeah. So it would have to be them driving. And I assume it would be if they had a plan for a ransom. I assume that whatever the carriage cost, they assume they would get more in ransom.
True. Good point. Okay.
Tonight I'm just knocking them out of the park.
No, but I wondered about that. So Walter gets brought home hours later, I'm sure, to his parents' house, who must have been worried, without Charlie, his brother. Sort of reminds me of how the Leopold and Loeb kidnapping went down.
Right.
That's interesting because this kidnapping actually inspired Leopold and Loeb.
Oh.
They said that it inspired them. Yeah, kidnapping for ransom.
Okay.
So
you know what? I didn't even think about that, but you're so right, Harrison.
Because they saw this and they saw these two bumblers and they're like, we can't do this better. Yeah. And they had a convo like you and me. They're like, listen, we got a carriage driver. Mm-hmm. We're going to take him for fireworks. We don't actually have to do the thing. Yeah. So good call on that. So Walter goes home and the father, Christian K. Ross, is like, where is your brother? Of course, Walter tells him the whole story because they let him go and he has seen their faces.
Right.
But obviously he doesn't know them.
Yeah.
And then Christian starts getting ransom notes. And the ransom notes are sent from post offices all over Philadelphia, so they can't pinpoint a location. The writing is so illiterate, it's almost indecipherable. Like the grammar and spelling is terrible. They say, we got him.
English class.
Yes. Oh. They say one of the phrases that gets used for titles of books is "we is got him." So
I remember that. I remember this story I remember that.
Can you in like a deep Philly accent? Because it was like, yo, we's got him. And it's like, don't go to the police or we will totally kill him. Like,
did they have a Philly accent back then? Where did
probably
was Delco already firmly Delco back then?
I guess it was Northwest is a little different than like South Philly. Yeah. I can tell people's neighborhoods sometimes from their accent. So they're like, yeah, don't go to police. We're totally gonna kill him. You'll never find him. But we want. So they invented the trope of like, if you go to the police, we'll kill him. They're like, yo, so give us like $20,000. $20,000 in today's money is about $400,000.
Whoa!
So they're looking for a lot. They're asking for almost $500,000.
Oh my God, that's awful.
And the Rosses,
the
Rosses, they did have this huge house. You know, there it is, all this land, nice neighborhood. They owned a store, but there had just been a stock market crash the year before, and they had lost a lot, and they were heavily in debt. So if the kidnappers were looking for a rich target that would hand them some money to get their kid back, they just happened upon the wrong family. Christian's like, I have no way to afford $20,000, so I'm going to call their bluff and go to the police. There's a little bit of disagreement about what happens with the ransom and his attitudes towards it. Some accounts say that a group of rich Philadelphians basically GoFundMe'd it. Others say that since he didn't have the money, he decided to go to the police and call their bluff. Some say that he refused to pay because it would lead to a proliferation of these types of kidnappings.
Right.
Turns out hundreds of Law and Order episodes later, they did anyway.
Yeah.
But so, needless to say, the ending of that is there is no ransom paid. And the case becomes a media sensation. Again, this is the first time we know of that a child has been kidnapped for ransom.
Right.
It's the first ransom note in history that we know of.
Amazing.
Yeah. Again, and in America, or at
Right.
least I definitely know, maybe in the world. The New York Times writes, "This Philadelphia business shows that any one of us is liable to such a loss." So, mothers are locking up their kids. Everyone's under watchful eye. It's stranger danger. This is also maybe the beginning of stranger danger, that someone could just come and snatch you.
Mm-hmm.
Like that idea. The Pinkerton detectives are brought in, the famous Pinkertons. They print up millions of flyers of Charlie's likeness. That's actually the photo of him in this scene. So that's their likeness. That was plastered all over town. And like flyering. There was, I have this, where is it? There was a song written to get the word out. It's called, I will show you the cover and the sheet music.
Interesting.
The song is called Bring Back Our Darling.
Oh.
And you can still get the sheet music for it if you want to play it. You can't really make, I can't like make out the words. It's too small on my computer, but if you want it, if you can Google and like zoom in, I couldn't tell what the word said. It's called I Will Always Love You. Yeah, turns out Dolly Parton was working in 1874. She's immortal. We all knew it.
If someone told me that as a real thing, I would believe it.
Yeah, so there's the music. In August, there's a break in the case. Because they find out all the way up in New York, there's a connection to yet another famous kidnapping, the attempted abduction of Cornelius Vanderbilt's grandchild. Now, that is an actual rich person. Cornelius Vanderbilt that's Vanderbilt, the railroad tycoon, one of the members of the 400. That's like this snooty high society name for it in the Gilded Age, what they called themselves. And actually an ancestor of Anderson Cooper, because his mother is Gloria Vanderbilt. Did you know?
Hey, Mom, if you'll probably get, this is probably on delay, but is that the house that we went to in Newport? Was it the Vanderbilts, the summer house? Just respond. I'll see what you say. I think okay.
It may have been.
Probably.
Meanwhile, guess what? The Guggenheims lived in my neighborhood, like 2 blocks from my house.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, fancy. There's this plot uncovered to kidnap the Vanderbilt grandchild. There was an informant in the kidnapper's circle. So the informant goes to investigators, blows the lid off this, blows the whole thing, tells them 2 men had been asking around for help with the kidnapping.
What?
Which is a great idea. It's such a great idea. Hey, any carriage drivers around? And people who can lend us their carriage on Buy Nothing?
That's so weird.
So they had also already written up ransom notes, which the informant was able to hand over. And the handwriting and grammar and spelling and atrocious writing absolutely matched the Charley Ross ransom note. So the informant is able to tell them that the guys were named Joseph Douglas and William Mosher. So boom. But I told you this is unsolved. So the chase is on. They've got the guys. It's pretty much confirmed. They try to capture them for months and months and find that they are just missing them. They were just there whenever they get there. Sometimes just by hours.
It was
went to Rockefeller's house.
Close.
But that's the level. Yeah, that's the level of Vanderbilt.
For those of you who have never been to Newport, they have these tours of it's called a summer home. Their summer home is like bigger than like the Macy's.
Yeah.
Like, it is absolutely incredible. It takes hours to tour through, and you can't even imagine like the opulence of them. So yeah, it's like that. It's wealth that most of us will never know.
It's obscene wealth. It's wealth that you cannot spend.
It's generational wealth too.
Yeah.
So it's impenetrable. Yeah.
Right. It's so much money that you can never spend it all, even if you tried. Even if you set it on fire, you could not burn it all. It's just so much money. Okay, so they're trying to catch Mosher and Douglas, but they just keep missing them. You do a little digging and find that within the search party investigation looking for the guys is William Westervelt, who is not only a former police officer, he is William Mosher's brother-in-law, and he's helping him out. So they are getting away left and right.
Okay, that's where the getting away comes from.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And here I wrote in parentheses, side note, is it weird to marry someone with the same name as your sibling asking for my dad? Because they're both named William, the husband and her brother.
You know what? My cousin, his brother's name is Chris, and he married a Kristen who goes by, like, he calls her Chris. And then his brother, they're divorced now, but his brother married a girl named Laura, and his sister's named Laura. So it was all like everybody had the same name in the family for a while.
Because my mom is named Kathy, and my dad's sister is named Kathy.
Yeah.
And before my mom, he was engaged to another lady named Kathy.
Maybe he's got a thing for Kathys.
It's super weird, I think, but I don't know.
My dad said, my mom might not know this story, but my dad told me, my dad would always tell you the inappropriate story, but he moved to Florida when my parents divorced, and the first woman that he met out at a bar or whatever was named Doreen, but he was just like, oh no, because that's my mom. No. And he was just like, it was too much, he said.
Wasn't it on Parks and Rec when all of the ex-wives, Ron Swanson's ex-wives had the...
Tammy, right?
Tammy, yeah. They all have the same name.
Tammy 1. They call him like Tammy 1 and Tammy 2.
Oh, and Lucille 1 and 2 from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Okay, so they keep not being able to nab these guys for almost 3 months. And, well, actually, no, they can't nab them until way later in the year. In October, while this is going on, Christian Ross says, screw it. Let's pay the ransom. I don't care if it emboldens them. Like, let's get my child back. It has been 5 months. However, the kidnappers were too broke to travel to the drop site, and the exchange fell through. I am not sure why they would agree to that drop site if they could not get there.
Wait, that's so weird.
That's where your money's going to be. I don't
pick a place you can get to.
Yes, I wrote that in my notes. What are you doing? Like, come on, ask some of your friends who you're trying to get to help you with this kidnapping.
Why would you be aspirational about the place that you need to pick up the money you need?
And the whole thing. Also, like, they've stopped getting notes, so they had to send this out. So they had to like go back to the informant and be like, make contact with these guys who we know who they are and tell them that we're ready to deal. And they're like, okay, sure. Fun. So smart. So fun. So they're in the wind again. And now it is December.
Isn't it pretty clear to everyone that the boy is no longer around? I mean, these guys aren't traveling around with a 4-year-old.
They could have stashed him somewhere. They are still saying that he will be returned if the money comes.
Because, I mean, I don't know. Anyone who's ever had children or just been around children, know, like a 4-year-old, it is, first of all, it's a wonderful age, but I don't know how great an age it is if it's not your child. But, like, they are sweet and everything else, but that's a lot of work. And I don't see two bumbling kidnappers having like a network of people being able to properly take care of a child. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there's a big question mark.
For a child you only expected to have for a couple of days.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, he's got his dentistry practice to get back to. He has things to do. He's got to buy some fireworks.
This dude is a dentist?
No, I made a joke earlier about the baby being a dentist.
Oh, right.
Sorry, my callback didn't work. It's fine. He will be returned, but they didn't specify a lot. Well, yeah, so they're swearing he's alive and safe and going to be returned.
I hate that kind of thing. Keep going.
So when they finally find them, it is an incredible coincidence. What happens is, in December, there's a man called Holmes Van Brunt, and he is in his house and hears an alarm bell go off in the unoccupied house next door and saw a lantern moving around. And because the house belonged to his brother, Justice Van Brunt, Holmes gets his guns and he gets his buds. And he's like, let's go stop this robbery. We're going to go to my brother's house and stop it. So they enter the house. The robbers put out their lantern and then everybody starts shooting. So yes, everyone shooting their guns wildly into the dark was a thing that people thought would be a good idea in the 1870s. At the end of the shooting, I guess when everyone ran out of bullets, the two robbers are down. One
Dead?
robber,
Dead?
well, hold on.
Sorry.
One robber is dead. He's dead. The other one is clearly dying. Like, he is actively dying. The dead one is William Mosher. The dying one is Joseph Douglas. And then while he's dying, knowing that he's dying, he goes, there's no reason to lie. They confess to taking Charley Ross. They're like, all right, we totally did it. So these dudes go over to the neighbor's house to bust up a burglary and end up killing the perpetrators of one of the biggest and most high-profile crimes in the country right now. It's being covered coast to coast. And so now, as he's actively dying, Douglas swears that Mosher was the only person who knew Charley's whereabouts. He didn't know. He swears he doesn't know. He can't say. And then he dies. So there's no more information getting gotten out of him. Then, and this is amazing, they bring in Walter Lewis and show him the bodies to see if he can positively identify them as the men who were in the carriage. So a 6-year-old child goes and looks up at two bodies that are all shot up. And he's like, why, yes, those are the gentlemen in the carriage from months ago.
And I'm fine.
Yes.
By the way, I am totally healthy and fine.
Totally fine.
More
I have no lingering trauma. Yeah. So, and it does seem like Douglas was telling the truth. No one can say where Charles is. No one even knows if he's still alive or not. While he was dying, he said that he would be returned in a few days. So Douglas wasn't really clear. Well, so some people said that there's a little bit of discrepancy with the witnesses. So some people said he was going to be returned. Some people said they didn't say whether he was alive or dead. He did not say that he was dead. But he didn't say definitively that he was not, that we know of, for certain. Mosher's wife doesn't know where the child is. Westerfelt, the police guy who was helping them, doesn't know where they stashed this child. No one ever has any information about where this child, what happened to him after they took him, or where he is. So it seems like the only person who knew was Mosher, who was coincidentally shot dead while trying to burglar a house. They do, so they're like, well, we got to try somebody for this. And they try William Westervelt on...
I figured, yeah.
Yeah. They try him on a bunch of things, and they even bring Walter into the courtroom and ask him, like, was he in the carriage? And he's like, no, those two shot up guys that you made me look at when I was a 5-year-old were the ones from the carriage.
Now buy me more fire.
Right. And this court is not trauma either. Mm-hmm. So they do get Westervelt on conspiracy, and he ends up serving 8 years, 6 or 8 years, I forget. The Ross parents never stop searching for their son. They spend upwards of $60,000 over the rest of their lives. So if $20,000 is $400K, that's 3 times as much. That's 120. Wait, that's $1.2 million, I think. In order to raise money for the search, Christian Ross publishes a book about the case called The Father's Story of Charley Ross, the Kidnapped Child. And when interest in the case begins to wane after a few years, he reprints the book and goes on a speaking tour to keep the name in the news.
That's terrible.
I know. He and his wife travel to and interview 570 potential Charlies.
Oh my God.
None of them are their son.
I can't even imagine.
I know. Christian dies in 1897 and his wife dies in 1912. Now, 12 years later, in 1924, it's the 50th anniversary of the case, and there's huge interest. And I didn't put that photo in a scene, but I have that newspaper, and it doesn't matter. So there's a lot of press for the 50th anniversary. This baby would be a 54-year-old man now. If he's alive, we have absolutely no idea. We have no idea what happened to him. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of attention. Walter is grown up. He's working as a stockbroker. Mm-hmm. And he gets interviewed for one of the pieces, and he says he and his sisters have never stopped getting letters from grown men claiming to be Charlie.
Oh, God, that's awful.
I know.
I think this is the truth for all crime, is that you not only have the trauma of what happened, but it's all of the psychos that come out, or I shouldn't even say that, it's unkind, but all of the damaged people who come out and either claim to be a psychic or claim to want to help you or claim to be the person or have done it. It's just, I think it's just never ending. The pain is like, it's a wound that never heals. And that's, I think, one of the saddest parts about being a victim of this capacity, or lots of capacities.
Right.
You keep getting re-victimized by like people who are just, I don't honestly know what the thrill is for that.
It's people love to insert themselves into things. It's so strange. It's so strange.
It's so damaging to the person that I can't imagine why you would want to do that to somebody.
Right.
It's so sick. But
there's a documentary, and I forget what it's called, but it's about a family whose son disappears, and then all these years later they find him. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh my God, that's him. And he's like, oh my God, my family. And then years later, they found out that he was an imposter. Ugh. But he had been accepted as
that is so
the long lost son.
Tragic. It's so tragic.
And he was supposed to be like a 12-year-old boy, but he was like a 30-year-old man or something. It was one of those.
They never, that happened with the Timothy Pitson case, where that guy came forward and he was not him, but it's just so weird. People's things sometimes are so damaging to other people. It's like, and then, but you're also like, your hope that this, like, realistically, probably that child wasn't alive, but your hope would be never ending, because if there's no answer, then I would never stop hoping or searching or paying, I mean.
Right. Because what are you going to do? Turn away the one that really is?
Right.
So along these lines, though, in 1934, 10 years after, so the 60th anniversary of this crime, a man named Gustav Blair comes forward and says, I am the real Charley Ross. I was kept in a cave after being kidnapped, which makes kind of sense because in Germantown is near Wissahickon, and that along Wissahickon there are caves that cult used to use.
Right.
So like Kelpia's cave. Mm-hmm. He's like, I was held in a cave after I was kidnapped. Then I was found and adopted by a man who finally revealed my identity to me, that I am Charley Ross. He actually petitioned the court to be legally recognized as the real Charley Ross. Walter Ross, the brother, takes one look at him and he's like, go fuck yourself.
You're not him.
He's like, my brother is dead. We figured he was dead long ago. We gave up hope long ago. However, in 1939, the court does in fact rule that Gustav Blair is Charles Brewster Ross and can legally change his name to that. They basically ruled that he is this guy. The family is like, still no, still go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. You cannot have Charlie's portion of money and property from our parents' estate.
Right.
Gustav Blair / Charley Ross died in 1943, so like 10 years later, after unsuccessfully shopping the story around to movie producers who didn't want to take it. And surprise, surprise, Ross descendants have taken a DNA test, and he was never Charley Ross. He wasn't even Gustav Blair. His name is actually Nelson Miller.
Oh, God.
But, so, this case is unsolved, and it's incredibly tragic. But one good thing, one ray of light that came out of this is the Charley Project.
And is that where they got the name?
Yep.
Yes, the Charley Project is wonderful.
Yeah. So the Charley Project was founded, I think, in 2004. It is a publicity vehicle for missing people who are often neglected by the press and forgotten about all too soon. That's from their website. They don't do investigations, but they host profiles of missing people to help spur investigations and continue them and basically keep the name going. Because as we know, if we're into true crime, it usually comes down to having someone who is obsessed with the case, whose dog it, like a relative or a friend, who makes everyone not give up on it.
Yes.
It's otherwise there's just like not enough time and resources.
Yes.
So,
that's amazing.
Right. And as I had said before at the top of this, the Charley Ross disappearance is the reason that your parents told you don't take candy from strangers. Because we think that's the origin of that.
Or fireworks. That would never
Don't take fireworks from strangers.
That didn't stick.
Yes. That didn't stick. All the rest of the kidnappers were like, what if we just do candy?
Right.
It's like so much easier. You can do it all year long. It only costs like 10 cents. We don't have to give them 25 entire cents when they go in the store. Like, yeah. So that's my story.
That's amazing. That is a good,
kind of short.
Yeah.
Kind of short but twisty.
It's no, I like so many parts. I have so many questions, but one thing that I wonder is, has there ever been a ransom where the person then was delivered alive after the ransom was paid? I don't know that. I mean, or is a ransom always a ruse?
That's a good question. I think
I can't think of any famous cases where the person was alive, but maybe I'm not.
Right, like, so wasn't Patty Hearst ransomed? Was she ransomed? She was kidnapped. I don't know. She got out. I know nothing about that story.
Yeah, I don't either.
There was a kidnapping of a Getty grandchild. That there was a mini series made out of called Trust that I watched, and I feel like he was ransomed. But it was like 8 episodes long because his grandfather the whole time was like, no ransom.
Frank Sinatra Jr.? I don't know this story.
Oh, I don't know that story.
Tell us.
Paul Getty, yes. Paul Getty. That's a decent series if you can find it. I think it was on TNT. They cut off. Yes, they did. They cut off his hair.
Oh yeah, I do know that story. I do remember, like hearing of, like possibly here, but I don't know if at this point I don't know if I saw it on a TV show, like as fiction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it just seems like most ransoms are just to get money. It's like keeping a person alive is relatively hard out of sight. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a hard thing to do, to keep a person alive and kidnapped for that long. It has been done. I mean, look at there were the 3 women who were kept, and then the other girl, I'm doing a terrible job, but there was a girl that was missing for years and years and years, and she was discovered, like somebody had her like in a basement or something.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy who had 3 women, and they were like in a shed or something. So it does happen, but it's not like I would think the majority is that the ransom is just a way to exploit the caretaker or the person.
Because so the women that were kept,
yes,
they weren't ransomed because they didn't want to give them away. Yeah, they were just taken.
But I mean, like the chance.
Amanda Berry. I don't know Amanda Berry.
Has been missing for years and years and years. Yeah, that's it. That they're more than likely not alive.
Yeah. Oh, Ariel Castro. Yeah, I remember. That's the guy, the Cleveland guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I'm reading Room right now. Has anyone else read Room?
No.
It was made into a movie. Maybe you've seen the movie.
I have. I've heard of it, but I just couldn't. I've never done it. Yeah,
I couldn't watch the movie because I was like, oof, and I wanted to read the book first. But it's interesting read during a pandemic quarantine. But it's told from the perspective of the 5-year-old child of a woman who was kidnapped at the age of 19 and kept in a shed. So
I don't know if I'm ready for something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's dark. And apparently I've been on a kidnapping spree lately. I also read a book called The Chain, which is also fiction, but I may have told you about this. It's a woman's daughter gets kidnapped and they call her and they're like, okay, this isn't a normal kidnapping. This is the chain. And we're the link above you. So we have your daughter and we're doing this because someone has our daughter. So what you have to do is you have to get this ransom and then you have to kidnap another child. And then you have to call their parents. And when you do that, and when you fulfill the steps, we'll release your daughter to us. Now that we've made you do all this, we'll get our child back. Like, and so up the chain.
Right.
So if you want to get into light kidnapping fiction,
that's like the improv form, The Chain. If you've ever
right,
yeah,
right. You gotta kidnap people and make them come up on stage with you.
Do improv with you.
Yeah. It's my favorite.
Oh boy, it's hard with kids stories. I feel bad sometimes laughing at the periphery because the story is awful and like it's so hard with kid stories because they're so innocent. Like they don't, know.
And he may have lived.
Right.
He was only 4. They may have this guy may have given him to like a very peripheral friend or acquaintance and been like, can you watch him? He's this name. And then he just grew up with another name and never knew that he was that child. And they cut his banana curls, so he never made the connection.
I think that was that Unsolved Mysteries of those 2 babies, right? Where those babies could be raised.
Yes.
And probably people just wanted.
They were. I think that they were baby snatched. I definitely think they were baby snatched. I think there's a kidnapping ring, and I think that they were sold to adoptive parents. Yeah.
Even what's funny is I was telling Andrea, I think before the show started, that we just watched March of the Penguins, and I swear when the mom's babies accidentally die, like
spoiler alert for March of the Penguins.
If you haven't seen it, was it released like 20 years ago?
Penguin death.
But when some of the moms try to steal the other mom's chicks when their babies die, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
Intense. So it gets in nature as well as real life, or human life.
Yeah.
But when it happens to penguins, all the other moms do a beat down of the mom trying to.
Oh, really?
It's pretty intense.
Good for penguins.
Yeah, right. Well, good for them, and then
they
make some choices. I love penguins. I think they're adorable, but they made some surprising choices. I don't think I could be these are emperor penguins. I don't think I could be an emperor penguin. But Jude tells me that he believes that we are.
Did you freeze? Oh, dang.
He believes we're all everybody.
Did you only freeze for me? I'm gonna look at the thing and say she might be back. Yeah. So, does everyone think? Do you think that he lived, or do you think that he died? I'm going to put it in the chat. Do you think? Not in all caps. I'm not going to yell it at you. I'm not that mean. Do you think that he lived?
Can you guys see and hear me?
So yeah, let me know if you think that he lived. That's the story of Charley Ross. And I was going to check the stream to see if Gina's still talking, yelling at me from the void. He's dead. Yeah, Harrison thinks he's dead. Well, obviously he's been missing for 146 years, so now he is dead. Wait, Harrison can see and hear. Gina, I can't see or hear you. I don't know what is going on.
No.
Good Lord. It's not frozen. What in the fucking world? All right. Well, hold on. I'm gonna refresh my browser. It's because you shit talked penguins. All right. It's refreshing. It's refreshing on its own. I don't know why. I think I have to light my candle and pray for.
Yeah, I do too, Harrison.
Something. Okay. I'm gonna refresh my browser. I might go away and come back. Let me see if this works.
Bye. Hope it works. I'm still here, everybody. This is the fun. The technology blips are like the best part of the show, I think. My feed went out, but you're back. Okay, good. Okay, good.
I can. Okay, let me join the green room. I can see and hear you.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, your
Good
stream must
Lord.
have just because
What
it's
the?
weird. I was like, well, I'm not frozen for me, so I don't know if it's just I'm not,
That's so
or if
weird.
yeah,
That's so weird.
yours doesn't like me for some reason.
I need to sage this computer. Man.
And it's the new one.
It's the new one that they told me I had to get to do all my fancy stuff.
Lies.
And I could just take off the tip jar and the events window and the alert box and the scrolling text and you know, have a way better chance of not
Have us in black and white and with mime, and we
crying.
just mime out the story.
Yes, if you liked my story, we would love bits as tips. We like
We
bits.
could be called mime and cookies.
Mime and cookies.
And then we just mime out the story.
And like,
Like a kid choke, kidnapping. No, I have to work on my miming, but
yeah. Subscriptions are appreciated.
I
Bits are-
made if you guys, if nobody probably wants to know this, but I've been working on my collages, and some of them I love, and some of them are not great. And I made one that I loved. I made the face for it, and I loved it. And then I put the hair on it, and now it looks like Inigo Montoya for the Princess Bride. And I'm like, I don't know how to make it better, and I don't know why it's stressing me out so bad. I think it's because I loved it, and now I'm like, oh, I messed. Jude says it looks fine.
Can
I
you just
showed
take the
him
hair
the
off?
picture, but Jude is really nice to me. So
Can you
sometimes
just take the hair off because you liked it before that?
paste it on.
Oh,
I could cut it, I guess, but I think
yeah,
that would compromise. I don't know. You know what? I think some of them will just be bad. So you can't. Everyone can't be an A plus,
right. Yeah,
right?
the imperfection is the charm.
I just don't want to be like this is this beautiful girl who got who disappeared, and people are like Inigo Montoya. It's because she has 80s hair.
Oh,
80s
yeah.
hair, and when you make 80s hair out of like out of just shapes, it looks
Yeah.
like his big thing. It's fine, and I'm not an artist. You know what I mean? I'm a lay person. I like right now. I'm making one that looks like Eddie Munster, but I hope it turns around.
I didn't know Eddie Munster disappeared, was a missing
He
person.
didn't, right? And that's the problem. If he did, it would be great. Imagine if I just slapped on the name Eddie Munster.
Yeah, so speaking of slapping names on things, we're almost there with merch.
Ooh.
Some of it looks really, really cool. I'm gonna wear a lot of it. So Harrison says you are an artist. If you do art, you're an artist. And I
Thank
agree.
you, Harrison.
I agree.
Thank
You're
you.
allowed to call yourself whatever you do.
Artiste.
We don't gatekeep. Why the Eddie Munster slander?
I mean, I love Eddie Munster. Who doesn't? But
Those short pants, I mean, whew.
so yeah, so I want to do the OJ thing on Friday. I want to talk about Murder on Middle Beach. I'm begging you guys to watch that. It is so good.
I'll watch it. I have time.
I really want to talk about it, but I don't know. I'm not going to make Andrea listen to all of it, but someday I want to talk about. I listened to the podcast Tom Brown's Body, and I have so much. I just need to talk to somebody about it.
Is it about that uprising?
No, it's about a small town in Texas where this kid goes missing, and then his body is found, and it's about what they think happened, and like it's unclear what happened. And so they kind of go through like what happened the night that he went missing, all that kind of stuff. So it's just like it's so interesting because it kind of goes like some people think he was murdered, some people think he committed suicide, like, but people were like dragged through the mud. Like the mom hired a private investigator who's just like really into himself, and then like the sheriff also like floated all these rumors about him, and so there's a lot of like misinformation and people who are lying, and it's just like what's the real story, you know what I mean? And so that's what's really good about it. And I'm as soon as I was done listening, I'm like, I want to know everything about, like, I want to talk to somebody about what they think happened, because it's such a mystery. So
I might give it a go. Doreen, if you're asking about us sharing, if you're talking about the merch, that is soon.
oh,
We will have.
she might mean my pictures.
Oh.
I'll share them with you at Christmas. But the merch, yes, soon, right?
Yeah, we're not ready to officially launch. The store is actually up on Teespring, but we'll have links and everything to it on our about and on our socials when we finalize everything. We have some design stuff we're still working on.
Even if Christmas is over,
Yeah,
I still want that Christmas shirt so bad.
we can get you the Christmas shirt. Did we put that up? I didn't put that up yet, but you could pay for rush shipping and get yourself a Christmas shirt.
I really want that shirt. Even I will wear it all year round, because
Yeah, we're making a Christmas in Murder Park shirt.
that's my fake. That's my dream Hallmark channel.
I want to buy the merch now. No, I know. I wish it was live now, but it will be live very soon.
Soon. I'm excited about all.
And we're going to give subscribers a discount code for merch, because we can send messages to all of our subscribers. So if you subscribe, you'll get a discount code, and you can get sweet hoodies and phone cases and pillows, and in some cases a blanket, and they got cool sayings on them. Yeah.
Yay. I'm gonna wear all the t-shirts, all of them.
I know it's and then, like, you can be like, oh, and then at this part,
I have so many graphic t-shirts and jeans. Like, I could open up a store. I could open a museum of, like, my disgusting t-shirts.
You're about to get more.
Yeah,
it's great. I'll never have to worry. I'll never have to wonder what to wear for a broadcast.
I will never have to worry about what. Yeah, anytime. It was like one time when I was married and my ex and I moved in. He's like the kind of person that won't throw anything away. When we moved into a house, we had so many bowls. I used to say, like, you could offer a bowl of cereal to everyone in the neighborhood. So, like, my now closet is like, I could probably clothe the whole town in graphic
Yeah.
so many, and I cherish every single one. Yes, I do remember that there were stores that only sold jeans.
I went in one once, and I was very excited because I lost a lot of weight, and they shamed me because size 8 was too big for their store.
What?
At the time, what I would not give to be a size 8 again. But yeah, she was like, oh, that's a really hard size to find. Like, not many ranges that we carry just go up that high. So
okay,
yeah.
bye.
Yeah, it was basically sample size jeans. So
we all know that everybody fits it.
Remember stores?
Oh my
That's
God.
fun.
I used to love, like, okay, so what was it? What night was it? Saturday. I slept like all day. I just needed to sleep, so I slept like all day. But I needed to go to Target for like something, and I had an extra 5% off, so it was like 10% off. So I went, and there was it was open till midnight. So I was like, nobody is going to be there late at night. And I went in there, and I was like one of 2 people shopping in the whole Target. So then I didn't feel like bad about like lingering, and because I had my mask on and there was nobody in there. And I just, like, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I think I walked around for like an hour just looking at stuff, and it felt so good. It felt so like good. I was like, why am I sad that I think like going to Target for the night is like high entertainment? But it was like, I needed to get out of my house because I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
And it was like so nice to be in Target, like pretending like I was kind of semi-normal.
Yeah. I am missing a very specific pre-pandemic life right now that I didn't even get to participate in it except for like a couple of times. But usually when it snows on the weekdays, I would get put up in the hotel across the street from the radio station because we were still live, so that we could sleep there and not have to drive and be in for the next day.
Right.
Which usually sucked because I had to get pet care because they didn't allow dogs. So I'd have to leave my animals, which I hate doing. But this one time, everyone else, like all of the news people and all of the other radio stations, were in the same hotel. And we all got incredibly drunk. There's only one restaurant in the Hilton on City Avenue, and it's Delmonico Steakhouse. So we would play how much is the bill going to be? And we'd all order like filet mignon, bottles of wine. It was comped by the station because they have to feed us, right? So we had to like nod it to sign the check because whoever signed the check to their room was going to get approached the next day by the head engineer being like $850. Are you kidding me? I'm like, yes. One time when it was me, he was like, how many people were at dinner? Because I know it's not the 5 of you. And I was like, I swear to God, it was the 5 of us. One time when everybody was there, I ran into an old coworker from an old station, and we were hanging out at the bar, drinking at the bar, and then we found out that there was a hotel room party with some of the NBC production people. So we went up to there, and I ended up hanging out and drinking whiskey with a kid that I knew from grade school because our parents both sang in the same church choir.
I thought you were going to say Hurricane Schwartz and bring it all back full circle.
He doesn't hang out. I have seen him eating breakfast sometimes.
He's serious.
I have only ever seen him eating alone, but then again, I usually eat alone too. Yeah. It just depends on who's around. But we get breakfast in the morning. There's a buffet. There's an omelet station. And you just see, I saw a bunch of people who I'm like, oh, that's that person.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a college-y kind of like atmosphere.
And the beds are really comfy at the Hilton.
Yeah, because you're in a hotel. You're not in a dorm.
Yeah, right.
That's nice. Yeah. That's really nice.
It was fun.
I'm educators don't get that. We don't.
You get snow days.
We get snow days.
You get snow days.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is then I have to fight my way home after the snow and try to find a spot.
Oh, right.
And try to like shove my car into a spot in the middle of a hill. Yeah. But there's another thing that I've only experienced very, very rarely when I didn't have the radio job and I did get a snow day, or like I wasn't on the air, so I got to stay home.
Yeah.
And they didn't put me up in the hotel, which is that in Manayunk and Roxborough, when it snows and everyone has a snow day, everyone goes to the bar, which we can't do now because there's no indoor dining, rightfully so.
Yes.
And I guess you could do outdoor dining, but like what? Because people in the neighborhood run and work at the bars. So someone can always walk there and open it up. Like someone can always get to the neighborhood bar to open it up. So all the neighborhood bars open up and everyone just goes and day drinks. They're like, well, you'll see that on their social media. They'll be like, well, Joe can get in by 11:30. If you want to come by around noon, it's like noon on a Tuesday. Everyone's lit. It's amazing. One time I was walking home and I fell in the snow in front of cute boys. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm not a drinker at all. So I'm the old lady who loves to lay on the couch with the fire on and with the cats and just watch things and fall asleep.
Yeah.
And eat cereal. So that's like my equivalent.
I am looking forward to not having to be out in it.
Yeah.
Because there was always
thing. It's cold. Like I don't want to do anything. I just want to be lazy.
And my dog doesn't like to walk in it. So I might take a snow walk. It is kind of fun. Although the hills.
What do you do? Like, how do you take your dog out when there's that much snow? Do you have to take like a little shovel with you to like give him a spot? Or
I just make him deal.
Oh.
I make him deal. Sometimes when it's raining, he also hates the rain. So sometimes when it's raining, he runs out as fast as he can, pees in the closest patch of grass, and then scoots right back up on the leash, just like dragging me back to the house.
That's what Eddie does. Eddie doesn't like the.
So that's what he'll do if he doesn't. And this morning? Was it yesterday? It was yesterday morning. It was pouring. So it was the morning once. I'm like, I know you have to do both. You're not just going to pee and go back inside. And so he did it as fast as he could. You could tell he was like, all right, here, fine. We'll do it just right here. We're just going to get this over with. I'm going to get back inside. I used to be able to see when he was really young. I could see him like, I don't want to go out. Because that'll make me sad, but if I pee in the house, that'll make her sad, and I don't want to make her sad. He's sitting there like,
all the options.
What do I do? It's just so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Like if I was them, like it's cold on their little paws. It's like it doesn't feel good. Like I mean, they don't have their regular routine. They have to like wade through snow. I mean, that's unpleasant. I get it. I get it.
And he's little. He's only like a foot or so high.
Yeah.
So he goes out and is like,
Yeah. So is Eddie.
so
Eddie's little too. So he like will just march you right back home.
what I might end up having to do if it gets really bad, my neighbor and his kids, and I like to go out and help when I'm home. They and other people around Manayunk kind of like hang out outside because we have to push people's cars up the hill.
Oh, right. You have
So
the hills there.
yeah, I thought it was a great idea to buy a house halfway up the hill. If you ever heard of the Manayunk Wall, it's why there used to be a bike race because it's like the steepest grade in the country or something. It's incredibly steep. It's like an 18% grade, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's scary. That road is scary when it's dry. But when it's icy, and I live like if the wall is here, I live 2 blocks over, so it's almost the same angle. It's a pretty steep angle. So we push people's cars.
It's like hard to navigate when there's no snow. It's like crazy.
Yeah, we also have 1-lane streets that are 2-way streets because we like to make it hard.
Right.
So you have to navigate it with your neighbor. Those are fun in the snow. There was just a post in the neighborhood Facebook group that's like, remember, the person going uphill has the right of way because they can't stop. Because if they stop, they won't get started again. Right. So, and everyone's like, we know. I'm like, well, you don't do it. That's why I've gotten stuck before because y'all yeah.
Luckily, I'm just very boring. I have a garage. I'm not going to go. I have to shovel my own driveway, but it's a small driveway, but I still don't like it. And I don't have to go anywhere. I feel this is exactly what I wanted, just to be stuck in.
It's nice to not have to be anywhere and to know that I can stay inside and not go out until it's the way that I want it to be out there.
Right.
It's wonderful. If you have to go out, be very, very careful. Yeah. Very careful. It might be an ice mix.
I do feel terrible for people who are like I saw in our Facebook group, in our neighborhood Facebook group, somebody was asking if there were any teenagers who were early birds to help her dig out because she has to she's an essential worker. She works at a hospital. And then some jerk was like, well, it's going to be dangerous to drive. And she was like, yeah, but I have to go in. I'm an essential worker.
Yeah.
Which people have no idea what that is. So
I know.
And like, just don't say any, like, just if you don't have an answer to the question,
right?
Like, shut up.
If you can't change the situation, why are you even here?
Right. Like, what is your opinion? Who asked for your opinion? Anyway, I felt so bad because I'm like, yeah, that is a really tough, when nurses have to go. And I just think like I'm a terrible driver in the snow. That's why I really don't want to go anywhere. And so I feel bad for people who really have to, like in retail or in
like grocery store. Yeah.
Yeah.
Places where you don't get put up. Because my thing is, and I always used to get, when I was a DJ, they'd put us in the hotel, but that's my thing. Like, you want me to come in this when we have a stay at home order, when it's a state of emergency, we're not supposed to be on the roads, then you have to make arrangements for me.
Right.
But I was very lucky, and not every industry does
that. The Wegmans, you can't say, well, you please put me on,
Right.
And that's unfair. And it's also, I feel like it's usually young people. And so
hello, Kat. I know.
It's sad.
Hello, Kat. Hello.
And like Dan, if he's still watching, has to go in probably no matter what.
Yeah. So. Although in Roxborough a lot, we have a lot of people who can walk. So that's or otherwise get there under their own steam and not drive. And another thing about the neighborhood is when it snows even a little, all of the buses have to change their routes because they can't get up the hill.
Yep.
So
it's terrifying when you can't get up there. Like I've had that situation in my car. And I'll like actively avoid routes where I know like it tends to ice just because like it's so scary when you get stuck.
You have to be very strategic if you're driving in Manayunk in snow, like which roads where are you going to do your uphill? Where are you going to do your downhill? What are you doing? My cat wants to put his face on the microphone.
Well,
That's
tell
fine.
us something.
Yeah.
Her story.
What are you going to say? I'm glad she doesn't have to leave like all the other times.
Baby.
Oh, another thing that I learned, if you're driving in the snow, if you're going uphill, it helps to drive in a very wide S shape if you can do that safely, because gravity is trying to pull you this way. And if you take the car's momentum and change it, you're going against the gravity. The gravity has to like pull you a different way, and it physics is out the force.
Yeah.
And it's easier to find traction but not fast and not narrow. Just wide and slow.
Zoe's still here. I wonder if the library closes in the snow. I guess not, right? Or does it?
Well, it's pandemic, so the library is closed, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
But in general, I wonder about that.
There was a big thing on social media today to just like give Philly kids off tomorrow. Just give them a snow day. They deserve it.
I feel mad that Jude has to. Well, actually, the snow's not really coming like until overnight. Like it's going to get more. It's starting in the afternoon and it keeps like creeping up. So it's going to be like overnight where they get the most. So like I'm thinking these poor kids. Like let them have a snow day on Thursday. Like let them just go play outside.
Yeah.
You know, they need it and it would be really fun, but ours thing said unless power goes out, they have school. Bless you.
Yeah, I hope my power doesn't go out, but
I
it probably
the
won't.
teachers deserve like I listened to Jude's teacher, and she does so much for them, and she makes it fun, and she really, really tries, and it's just like it's incredible what some teachers are doing to make virtual learning possible for their kids.
Yeah.
And it's really, like they honestly deserve, like they're going right up until December 23rd. And I'm like, these poor teachers, they really need a break.
Yeah. So I just looked up the latest for my neighborhood, and it's moved back to be starting at noon now. Instead of 10, which is good. It moved back in time, and it's gone down from 13 inches to 7 inches.
Nice.
Yeah.
Zoe's going to be right. It's going to be like, by the time it's tomorrow, it's going to be like 1 inch.
Where is my foot of snow? And then it's going to ice, and it's not going to stick, and
still not going anywhere. I don't really go anywhere. The only thing is I have to go to the post office, but I think because it's not going to start later, I can go to the post office before everything.
So if this was normal times and if I was working still and doing my air shift, I would probably have to go in. And then since it's starting at noon, I'd work the first couple of hours and then leave and hope it isn't that bad by the time I have to leave. Or I could go in and voice track the whole thing and then just leave. But because we don't do the updates anymore. Now that we're Entercom, that whole situation changed. I don't even know there's snow policy because it didn't snow last year. So
that was so great.
But I would be like, if I had to stay and be live until 3, I would be on the bus. And it would be the 9, and it stops. Like the 9 stops miles and miles and miles before it gets to my stop when it snows, because it can't get up the hill.
Oh, right.
So like here's the route. We come into to the neighborhood, and then this is where the 9 stops when it snows. And then it goes all the way up the hill and all the way across the other side of the town. This is where my house is. So I have to take I have to get off here where the 9 bus stops and take another bus that goes straight across, because it can still make it straight, and then get off at the bottom of my street and walk all the way up the hill in the snow.
Both ways. Kidding.
Both ways. That's a joke that I make about Manayunk, that Manayunk is uphill both ways.
Yeah.
Because it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
So those kids will really be able to tell those stories.
We all have excellent butts in Roxborough, Manayunk, and defined calves. It's just our lower halves are just meant to move it up that hill. So I'm excited to spend the snow having nowhere to go, maybe pushing people up the hill. That's fun. Last time we pushed this girl who had just moved up from Georgia
Oh no.
and moved to Manayunk and was trying to get up the hill in the snow and had never seen snow before. She's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
We
Poor
pushed
thing.
we pushed her all the way into a spot. Like, we parked her car for her. And then we're like, if you need anything, this is where we live. We're right here.
It's amazing how
So,
like primal snow makes you. Like you just are just like you feel like you're back to, like down to basics. I wonder if other like do other places like we in the Northeast we love talking about our snow. It's like one of our
yeah,
like if it's gonna snow, it's like all the talk. I wonder if in other places they're just like get over it. You know, like in Rochester, New York, they're probably like who cares. And
right.
in other places, it's completely foreign. It's just interesting, like what weather events get like attention. I suppose depending on where you live, that's what all the talk is. But becomes very exciting when there's snow for some reason. Even
Yes.
though I hate it,
We love it.
we'd love to talk about it.
The news stations have record-breaking ratings when there's a lot of snow.
It's all day long. Your
And
shows aren't
the
on.
news and the radio station. Yeah, it's all day. It's all day snow. Even when there's not a lot of snow, they're like, well, there's not a lot of snow. Here we are out here.
Let's go out to Brandon. He's on Route 202. And then there's Brandon.
Right.
And he's like, oh, there's a flake. And, you know, or they'll have like people driving on like not, roads that are not navigable. And you're just like, why are you doing this? Like, I believe you. Stop. Get out of that car. You don't need to put your life in danger to show me that your life is in danger.
Yeah.
I believe you.
One year, NBC, they were sending them out. Our job, instead of calling the news desk, we got the cell phone numbers of all of the reporters who are out on location and all of their locations.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd have to call a different one every time it was time to do a report and be like, all right, you're out in the Northeast. Do you want to do a thing on the radio? And it was like all day. It's on the TV station. It's on the radio. We love to talk about snow.
It's all the snow and the Eagles. If the Eagles are doing anything, that's all the news is
because both of them tend to be a clusterfuck. And just not to shade the Eagles.
You know, it's sad because I actually bet against the Eagles in my football pool and lost, and I thought that was a sure thing. Wow. And I'm down to 2 live. Well, I'm down to I don't even know. I don't remember who I bet on for I didn't do the Eagles for both, so I don't know if I'm still in at all. I have to check. I'm like the worst. I am the absolute worst at like because I'm in just like a suicide pool, and I'm at the worst. I forget to check it. I forget to like the person always is like emailing me at the last day, like put your picks in, and I'm like, oh my god, like I just don't. And I'm sure there's people that like live for it, and I'm like, oops.
Yeah, yeah. It would be funny if you won. That's like whoopsie.
Yeah, I told my friend, I'm like, Jules, I was like, I'm like really bad. She's like, you don't. It doesn't even matter. You don't have to know a thing about football. And I was doing really, really well, and then one week I just blew it. And I lost all. But I mean, I guess that's what. And Jude was like, "You're betting. You're gambling." I've let you down.
Oh, yeah. What else was I going to say about the snow? Probably nothing. Or broadcast. I don't know. It was great when nothing had changed and my boss wanted different reports every time, so I had to call these people and bother them. Like, it's the same. It's just light sleet in Downingtown.
Yeah, we always get it out here because it's like I guess we are west of the city, and so we always get more here. Usually,
it's that I-95 corridor.
That corridor, man.
Corridor. How else would we know?
So I feel like there was something else I wanted. Oh, you know what? I heard on Tenfold More Wicked. I heard a bit about the brain and serial killers, and I didn't absorb it. Like I didn't absorb it enough to be able to regurgitate it, but I'll listen to it. If not for Friday, then for soon, just to talk about it, just because we had just been talking. It was like, it literally was the kind of thing where we just talked about it, and then I listened to that, and I was like, there's the answer. But of course, it was so much more sophisticated. Like I felt dumb. I was like, clearly, I have a lot to learn. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Do you think that she watches? Do you think that she watches us? And that's why she's like, I'm going to answer that question.
No.
No.
No. She is a rock star, that woman. Like I'm like, man, someday maybe. But you know, I'm not smart like that. I'm, you know, I could learn it. I learn it, but I learn it on my level. I'm not like a genius
Yeah.
like this woman is.
Okay, here's a fun thing that I found on TikTok that you might have seen. Here is a very quick psychopath test
Ooh.
that I was very excited that I did not pass.
Hmm.
So here's how you find out if you have the mind of a psychopath. Let me put something in the chat.
I hope I don't have that.
Test.
What am I doing wrong? Okay.
Okay, so there's a crime scene. Police come to a crime scene. There's a man lying on the floor. He's shot himself in the head. There's a gun in his left hand. He's shot in the head. There's a gun in his left hand, and there is a recorder. And so they press play on the recorder and a tape, and it says, he says his name. He says, this is my suicide note. I'm going to kill myself. Have fun walking, Eddie. I'll see you on Friday. Have fun in the snow.
Hi, Mom.
Have a good night. Yeah, so this is my suicide note. I'm gonna kill myself. I can't take it anymore. And then it ends with a bang. So a psychopath apparently will be able to point out the weird thing.
Is it that the tape kept playing after, like, or that it was shut off after because you couldn't turn off a tape after you die?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I didn't get it.
So you know what? Okay, I will tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't believe I'm a psychopath and why I know that. Because I teach creative writing, and for years we talk about point of view. And it is very common for somebody to write in the point of view of somebody who dies. And then at the end, you realize it's been narrated the whole time by someone who's dead, but not on purpose. Like, in other words, they die, but then the story wraps up, and you're like, well, who's wrapping up the story? It was a first person the whole time. Is this told by a ghost?
Is this the Lovely Bones?
Yeah, I'm like, is this a ghost story? Well, no. Well, then, okay, so who's narrate? Like, you know what I mean? So I think that way because I've had to have those talks all the time about, like,
that's interesting.
Who's the narrator? And then when the person dies, like, you know what I mean? Like, why are we switching points of view after a person dies? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that's why my brain did that. Or the other reason is I might be a psychopath.
And I don't know why that would work. I guess because they're not emotionally reacting, which you can train yourself not to do that. You always look for the one weird thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that works, but anyway.
Did anyone else get it? Am I the only one who?
No one has answered.
I'm scared.
Is Gina a psychopath? I didn't. We took those tests. And I was way more psychopathic than you were. I was highly sociopathic, which you have to be.
Your radio days, though.
I'm still a narcissist. I don't
tend to think I am, but then I guess what narcissists do think they're narcissistic, I guess.
A lot of my sociopathic the tendencies that I respond to on that test have to do with being able to not have Andrea could commit murder. Absolutely. Gleefully. So a lot of the behaviors are about not having emotions, not being overcome by emotions. And that's something that you, especially on an adult contemporary station, especially on the one that I was on, it's so like lockjaw grimace. We are happy. Everything's great. Isn't the day wonderful? We're making it better. It's such a good day. I had to do that on the day of Sandy Hook.
Yeah. Not having feelings. Yeah.
It breaks your brain a little bit. It breaks your brain. I was on the air during the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. That was a trip. I was on the air during Sandusky's sentencing. Yeah. I am always on the air during stupid crap.
Yeah.
And it's like these things happen and you're like, it's so strange. It's like, do you acknowledge it? Do you not acknowledge it? Do you be the escape? It's also important to be an escape because people do need an escape valve. Someone always has to be puppy gifts, I used to say. So on one hand, you're supposed to be a place of light and happiness. But on the other hand, you seem so divorced from reality.
Right.
How do I do it? I go a little crazy. I am not well adjusted, and I shut down inconvenient emotions. And so it's, and like they're the big world tragedies and personal tragedies. And I mean, I have trauma from assaults and all kinds of other things. And sometimes something would like trigger it out of the blue. And I would have to like brain my way through it and just like get out of it. And just, so basically box it up, put it to the side, kick it out the door, deal with it later.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you have to do that teaching, and sometimes not. Like I find that I can be vulnerable and the students are usually fine with it. But then sometimes, like if you're just going through something personal that's not anything to do with your job or the world, you just have to kind of like suck it up and pretend, but not to the level that you had to do. And I mean, one time a student like low-key made fun of herself for being in community college, like thinking that like it was like a choice for like dumb people or whatever. And I mean, I was pregnant at the time, so I was emotional, but I just started crying. And I was like, what you're doing is beautiful. And you're smart, you're saving money. Like I just went on a whole diatribe about like, so I've had moments in the class where I like will tear up like over something, you know, in a way that you can't do on the radio, like just express your feelings, or like if somebody says something moving, like I don't like shy away from it, but I'm not like in there crying every day.
Yeah.
But things do come up.
I did rebel against that a little. Like I would allude to stuff. I would be like, it's a dumb day. The morning show would be like, isn't it wonderful? We're having a great time. And I'd get on and I'd be like, this rain is garbage and it's making me sad. Here is some Billy Joel. But I did reach my breaking point in that very recently, I forget when it was, there was a meeting, and coincidentally, I was one of only 3 women left in this meeting. It was all men, and we were going over legal stuff, and I was asking about how they could prevent masturbators from calling me and masturbating at me, which is basically sexual assault at my job. And the dude yelled at me. Like he went all MRA. He was disgusting. It was terrible. He handled it so badly that I didn't, but one of the other women in the meeting went to HR to report it. And I didn't, like, whatever. And so I had to leave early because I had to go do a video shoot for the wine festival that's since been canceled. But so I had to go and do a video of me talking to these South Jersey winemakers about what's your wine about, and what's your wine story, and let's sell this festival. It's so fun and everyone wants to go to. And I went back into the air studio and I started to like get upset. I was very upset. I was crying. I was like the cry when you're like almost stop it, but only like not 3%. And I was like, my first thought was like, all right, we are professional. We suck it right up. We are going to get over to our video shoot. This is what we do. This is what we're good at. And then this tiny part of me in the back of my head was like, I am so sick of not being upset about these things. Like, I am so sick of sucking it up. I am so tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of being tired of it.
Yeah. Isn't that such a woman thing though? Like how many times have I like just needed to walk away and like even like go to a remote part of campus and just like be angry? Like I'll like angry cry, but just for like a minute because I'm so mad at some guy like from wherever in the college. And then you just like, okay, I'm fine. Clear my eyes out. Got to go back to work. Like, I feel like that is such a common and I'm glad that you shared that. It's such a real thing.
I didn't. And the different thing is I didn't even have the chance to go and have that cry and have it out because I was late for a video shoot and I had to like, Yeah, the day one of my boyfriends broke up with me, he broke up with me early in the morning, and then I worked a triple. I was like, okay. And now I have emotional problems.
That's why you just don't date anybody. I mean, everybody
Exactly.
knows that.
Exactly. I was gonna look something up on my phone. I completely forgot my train of thought. Oh, it was a big day in our new fancy corporate office. Oh, that's fine. Crap. Yes, you can say bitch.
Yes, that is
Just
so
going outside.
true.
Do I have trust issues? Yes, I have all of the trust issues. It's wonderful. And they stem from other things that I work things that I'm not ready to air publicly yet, but they are they are pandemic related. Oh, it was a big day. I was the one who figured out we moved into the new corporate headquarters, and it was like open office, and no one had offices, but people who had offices, they were glass, and it was very like, and one day I was like, there is nowhere here to cry. There, not even the bathroom. The bathroom, there was one bathroom and it had 10 stalls. There was nowhere to cry.
Yeah.
And so we finally figured out that you needed to go to the lactation room. If you had to cry, you could go there. Because there were private bathrooms for the WIP green room, but they echoed. They had very good tile work. I did a singing video in there because the emotions or the acoustics are amazing, but they would hear you if you were crying. So there's no place to have a cry.
Yeah.
But there were like
being on a huge campus. You just walk until there's nobody.
Yeah. There were like 3 of us. When I said it, I was like, there's no place to cry. And there were 3 other people who were like, oh my God, no, we have to figure this out right now. And so we went all around the entire thing. And yeah, no, I have trust issues out the butt. They're
I've
wonderful.
done that thing. I'm too trusting, so that's fun also. But it's not.
It's fun. We average out. We average out.
There you go. I'll trust everybody for you, mistakenly.
Fantastic.
And you don't have to worry about it. So go ahead.
I have a trick for you that I learned on TikTok for when you're so mad and you start to cry, but you don't want to cry because you're mad. Mm-hmm. You know, the angry cry that we like can't hold in, but you're like so mad it comes out of your eyes. Yeah. So this girl on TikTok was like, have you ever been behind a dog when it was barking its head off and you see its asshole? Its asshole is contracting like with the bark, in time with the bark. And that is a nervous reaction or nervous system reaction that humans also have. So when someone is screaming at you and someone is very angry, just think to yourself of their butthole contracting.
Oh, gross.
But then you don't want to cry.
True. Very true.
Something like your butthole is doing a jig right now. Okay. Now I'm not crying.
I'm not crying. I'm doing something. I'm vomiting, but I'm not crying.
Like, how's your butthole?
Oh, it's disgusting.
Mine is relaxed because I'm not enraged right now. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Isn't life fun?
Yeah. So
work, man.
I
feel very grateful for having this time. Like I do feel bad for people who have had to go out in difficult conditions. I do feel grateful to have had this time, like, to myself, to just, like, you know, learn more about myself and the things that I like, start to figure out, like, things I want, things I don't want, things like that. Extra time with my son, which is like, you know, we'll never spend this kind of time together again. Yeah. This is like, so there's, I know how lucky I am to have that. So those moments at work are definitely like, it makes it harder to think about going back. But at the same time, you know, I know that I'm lucky to sort of be like, now if I want to go somewhere to cry, it's just the couch.
Yeah, right. Cry whenever I want. Whenever I want.
Whenever I want. And usually I don't like crying. I hate crying. So I try to avoid it at all costs. Yeah. It's
been nice to be able to feel my feelings, which is weird. Being fired, I got fired literally like a week into this thing. So again, what I would have to do when I was in the air, sorry, is like if something would happen, or like the presidential race was incredibly nail biting and very upsetting. Like there was upsetting shit every day. I would read it because like to be aware of it, I have to be on Twitter and everything. Like I have to be aware of what's going on for the show and take that feeling, put it to the side, do my show, like be happy. And I realize that I don't have to do that anymore. Like if something is, first of all, I can get off social media and I can feel my feelings instead of putting them away because I'm not obligated to feel or do anything else. And it's
on this
weird.
show, you can talk about your feelings in a safe space.
And I can say fuck. No, this is nice. This is great. And I talk about it with my therapist. Like this is what I want it to be. Like the way of communicating that I would like to be communicating about.
Yes.
Very like honest and vulnerable and connecting and telling stories and talking about shared experiences and not playing Billy freaking Joel.
I get it. You know,
so.
I get it.
I have not listened to
it. I turned it. It's not Eddie Munster. Sorry.
Good.
I did it.
I was just gonna joke that I have not listened to a single Christmas song except the Big Freedio one.
Oh, see that Christmas songs are like soothing to me. So I've been doing that. You know what I've noticed? I've been doing things that are soothing, like that I want to do. I'm like this time of year. I'm usually like frantic, and I'm still feeling frantic, and I'm still feeling overwhelmed by the work that I have to do. But at least I'm able to do like enjoy. Like I actually enjoyed putting up my tree this year. I usually hate it.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. I've been trying to do I've been trying to do little things that I enjoy to kind of offset all the, you know.
Yeah, that's a good coping mechanism. That's good. Everyone should find things that soothe them, that make them feel calm and make them feel better, and they should do them.
Yeah.
So that's your homework.
Yeah. And also, you could turn things off when you don't like them.
Yes.
Or you could just not like if something's upsetting you. You don't have to like engage with it or like you can just say no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna, or I don't need to do that anymore just to like sometimes I would just like go through the motions of things just because I thought I had to do them. And now it's like I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Except like, you know, keep my house afloat, feed my child.
Right.
That, like the basics, I don't have to do anything. Right. And so everything I'm doing is like I'm learning how to be deliberate with what I want to do. Except for grading papers. I don't want to do that and I have to do that. But that's so I can get the money so that I can feed the child. But beyond that, yeah, like I'm learning how to just enjoy this, like in like my new hobbies, like enjoy them. You know, they're fun.
Harrison, I'm very happy for you. Harrison, feeling good as of late, thanks to the addition of a med to assist another med. Yeah, that's when you get. That's a good shit. And the collages is therapy. Yeah,
the collages are beautiful. He sent me a couple the other day, or shared a couple the other day, and they're gorgeous. I mean, if you haven't checked out his Etsy, I always want to call it Instagram, Etsy, which you also have an Instagram.
And you followed us. You followed us on Twitch today as HJS Collages as well. So I feel like you're going to start a channel where you do collages on Twitch, which would be amazing. And if not, there's a free idea.
I know, we talk about it. And then also missing pictures. I want my missing photo. I sent Harrison this picture of this, like it was like a Disney picture of this woman, and she's got like this gorgeous crown, and her hair is all teased out, and she's got like a beautiful gown on, and she's like posed like so beautifully. And I told him that was the pose and look I wanted for my missing photo. Just because, I mean, why not, right? If you're
I'll help you with Twitch.
Andrea will.
It's not that hard.
If your missing picture is going to go everywhere, it should be the best picture of you.
I thought of that. And Harrison, when I was looking at this missing picture today, because I was like, "Ooh, that's not a good missing picture."
You don't think so? I think it's gorgeous though. Like it's a good picture. But you're right.
Lopsided. It's lopsided. Right. It's not.
You know what? From far, I can't see it that close up. So to me, it looks good. But yeah, I really want. I have to share the picture because it's very funny. But it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to look absolutely glam.
I think on Friday we should do our missing pictures.
Yeah. Okay. And she was very like. which why not? Why not? I'm missing. Chances are I'm dead.
So we bring back glamour shots, but we call it missing pictures.
Yeah, and without the tease of glamour. Like I don't want the heavy what do you call it? Filters or like the 80s. Like I want like now glam.
Right. So it would be like ring lighting, HD cameras, makeup artists, and you get to pick out your outfits, and then
and
your background,
like a queen / princess / like goddess. That's exactly. Good night, Mom.
Good night, Doreen. We'll see you Friday.
Good night, Eddie.
Good night, Eddie. Good night, Moon. Good night, Mush.
Eddie Spaghetti is what I call him.
Oh, that's cute. I should probably feed my cat soon as well. Here he is, reminding me that he needs to eat.
Yeah, I should pay attention to my child. And did you do extra math? Yeah. What about that ELA? Oh, you better get on there.
Oh, I'm on tenterhooks. Did you do it?
He didn't do the ELA.
Oh my God, he didn't do the ELA.
Kids are only going to do the thing you ask them to do.
Oh,
right. You were the same.
No, I was a straight A student. I did all my homework.
You did?
Yeah, I was that kid.
But most kids are like, what did you like? I will do the exact thing you said is most kids. Yeah. Although I'm super proud. I'm just going to be a weirdo, annoying parent. But yesterday he was in class and the teacher asked, she read a passage and asked for the main idea, and Jude volunteered and got it right. And I was like, woo!
English teacher mom.
I was like listening in here and I'm like, that's right.
Oh, cool.
He's the only kid like in his drawer. When you open it up, it tells you what it like. I have a note that tells him like what a thesis is. I have like a chart of how to write a 5-paragraph essay.
Oh my God, the 5-paragraph essay.
Yeah.
In this essay, I will. And a big note that says your dead character can't narrate after they die.
Your character died. Why is he still narrating the story?
Who is narrating?
Like, that's the other thing. They'll have like someone else in the story start narrating for 1 paragraph. And I'm like, that is not how it works. Okay.
No, that's not how books work. Listen, if you want to do alternate narrators, they each have to have their own chapter with their name on it. That's how romance novels are.
Take my creative writing class. You get all these tips and more.
Yes, you'll be great writers like Gina. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we
did it.
We did it again. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, we'll see you Friday. We're going to go through the OJ comic. We're going to bring our missing pictures. We're going to talk about Murder on Middle Beach. It's on HBO. HBO and HBO Go. Yeah.
HBO needs your money. They're desperate. So please watch.
Tough times for them. They had to buy those coats for Nicole Kidman.
I know, right?
Yeah. And we're always available on Crime and Cookies. Crime and Cookies on Facebook, Twitter, Insta. We love talking to you. We love everyone that followed and subscribe. And if you haven't, please support the channel because this is all I do now. All right. Have an awesome rest of your week. Take care of yourself. We will see you on Friday.
Bye.